The Big Show with Night and Day. Get a hell of a caffeine fix from your local Night and Day.
Don't fight it. It's time to go up a size.
This is the biggest.
This is the biggest.
Our biggest show.
The Hodaki Big Show with Jason Hoyt, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
Oh, yes, g'day New Zealand. It is Monday the 29th of April 2024. You're listening to The Big Show, brought to you by Night and Day. An old Hoity J. He's done a classic Jace thing, actually. He's had a long weekend of 4 days and then gotten sick. And now he's under the weather, couldn't come in today. Should be back on deck tomorrow, though. Tell you who's not sick, maybe in the head, but old Mogi.
Oh, Keyzie. I tell you what, when people tune in, they're driving home in their cars, they're thinking, God, that was a rough day, Monday after a long weekend.
Yeah.
I'm struggling, but at least I get to hear the Big Show. And then the first voice to come out of the old speaker's ears, old Keyzie, and they think, God damn it.
Yeah, so
what kind of a life is this I'm leading? Did you have a good one, man? Did you have a good weekend?
I did have a great weekend, Mogi, but we'll get into that later. Did you have a good
we'll get
weekend?
into that later. I'm not even going to tell you if it was any good, but we're going to get into it later. But we've got bigger fish to fry, don't we, mate? Because today we're going to announce the winner of a humongous competition.
Actually, that reminds me, some breaking news.
This is breaking news.
Today we're going to announce the winner of a humongous competition.
That is breaking news. You heard it here first on Breaking News.
You certainly did. The NRL Magic Round prize. It involves joining myself, Mogi, Hoity J, Pugsan in Brissy. Everything paid for, flights, accommodation, tickets to a sold-out NRL Magic Round, all covered by boystrip.co.nz. If you entered that draw, we'll be making the call next. So make sure you've got your phone on, turned up loud. You won't want to miss out on that one. In the meantime, some tunes. Here is Filter. Jane's Addiction up next. Let us know what you're up to in New Zealand. What are you wearing, etc. 3483 is the number to text. Every text in the draw for a $50 Night and Day voucher.
Gigi, bang on.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
Here they come. Try time.
Holy cow, the Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Up the Warriors, baby.
It's the Big Show in Brissy for the NRL Magic Round.
Is there anyone out there?
Let's go to the phone.
Yes, we're going to go to the phones, all right, but not to put people in the draw. It is time to give this puppy away thanks to our friends at boystrip.co.nz. It is one hell of a trip. You and a mate to Brisbane with myself, Mogi, Hoity J, Pugsan for the NRL's Magic Round. Free flights, free accommodation, tickets to a sold-out Magic Round. That is 8 games of rugby league back to back to back to back at Suncorp. One hell of a prize, Mike Minogue.
Hands down, one of the best prizes we have ever given away, and it's been a joy throwing people in for the draw over these last weeks. Everybody is absolutely fizzing for this one. So you'll be sitting there thinking, God, I hope my phone rings. God,
Yeah.
I hope my phone rings.
And I just hope that, you know, if you've got yourself in the draw, you've got your phone on, because it is time to make the call. I am punching in the number right now, and just a quick reminder, if you want to join us, if you're not the lucky winner, you can still buy your way onto this trip. Go to boystrip.co.nz, just $2,800 per person, everything included. Oh, God. I'm so nervous.
Hello, Cooper speaking.
Hi, Cooper. It's Keyzie and Mogi from the Hodaki Big Show. How are you?
Oh, I'm bloody good. How are you, you mad bastard?
Going pretty grouse. Going pretty grouse.
Your backbone. Hey, Cooper, just quickly, mate, have you got a current passport?
I sure do.
All right, you into your rugby league?
Bloody love it, mate.
Cooper, pack your shit, mate. You are going to Brisbane.
Holy shit, boys. Absolute backbone.
Oh,
How good is that?
Oh, made my bloody week and month, boys.
Yeah. Who you taking?
Have to be one of the boys for sure.
oh,
Yeah.
one of the fellas.
Yeah, one of the failures.
One of the failures. I like it. Cooper, look, mate, we're going to be leaving in a few weeks' time. You're going to be joining myself, Mogi, Pugsan, Hoity J on the plane as well, staying with us in great accommodation 3 nights away. It's going to be bloody epic thanks to Boys Trip. Glad to hear you fizzed up about it, mate.
Oh, you ripper. Thank you, Haraki, and to everyone. Awesome.
No worries at all, Cooper. We're going to chuck you over to Pugsan, who's going to look after you, butter you up, get you all prepared for that trip to Brissy, mate. Looking forward to hanging out with you. Mogi, that's pretty excellent, right? I mean,
That's the kind of phone calls you want to be getting.
Yeah.
When it comes to radio stations, a trip for you and a mate going over to Brisbane, beautiful weather, rugby league back to back to back. Hell of a trip, man, and he sounds like he's fizzing. So
Yeah.
can't wait to see the state of him when he gets over there.
And imagine watching 8 games of rugby league next to an authority on rugby league like Hoity J.
Dreams do come true.
You can just pick his brain about anything. It's going to be bloody good. Big shout out to boystrip.co.nz. And for all those that got in the draw that missed out, sorry, mate.
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
Collective Soul on the Hodaki Big Show, 22 minutes past 4 this Monday afternoon. Keyzie and Mogi with you. Hoity J, under the weather, back again tomorrow.
Had a bloody ripper of a weekend, man. There was the Anzac Day there, and then I took the Friday off, you know.
Yeah.
To make the most of a bit of a long weekend there, and went over to Waiheke Island, where I've spent a lot of time over the last few years. To say farewell to the place that we lived in over there, that we had the guy who owns it is selling it.
Oh,
which is
man.
a shame, eh?
Yeah.
A little bit on the selfish side. But went for a swim. Quite cold.
What, in the ocean?
The ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
pretty
summer
cold
anymore, yeah.
No, it's not. It was beautiful bloody weather, though. And thought, oh, look, I'm just going to get out there and get involved in it. I went for a swim, and then sort of I was standing out on the balcony, and I could see a couple going in.
Oh, right,
And
so
it
you thought
took
I'll
them-
go join them.
Well, I thought, how cold is this? And I could tell it was cold because it took them, and I'm not even lying, about 5 minutes to get in. They
See-
were just barely moving.
That's quick for my wife.
Right.
She'll fart around in the shallows and then eventually after 10 minutes just leave.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so.
Yeah. So they were telling me through their body language, Keyzie, that it was cold. So that I'll give it a go. I went in there and my shins were immediately numb as soon as I walked in.
Yeah.
It was like so cold that it hurt you. And then I dived under the water. You've just got to get into it. You can't bugger eyes around there. So I went in and just dived under the water. Immediately, every single muscle in my body contracted.
All of them.
About as tight as it's possible for a muscle to contract.
Right.
And I heard when I was under the water a cracking noise, and I didn't know what that was until I got out and it warmed up a bit, and I realised that I'd broken a couple of the ribs in my back. Have you ever done that?
What, the ribs? No, I've never done that.
So what happens is the water's so cold that your muscles contract and they snap your back.
Is that a real thing? Holy cow, I've never heard of that.
It's a real thing, and it's
you
a
all
real
good?
thing that happened to me. Well, I've taken a couple of Voltarens there, couple of Panadol. But other than that, I'm just shutting up and getting on with it. But I'll be honest with you, it was news to me. I didn't know that could happen either.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what happened.
You know, you should have some vitamin C as well, just on top of that, just to make sure.
I was getting so much D over the weekend that I think that's all the vitamins I can probably stomach. I don't need to have
Stuffed full of D. Yeah, I get it, man.
I was rammed full of D. And I guess my question now is did I break my ribs because my muscles are so strong or because my bones are so frail?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, personally, I think just looking at you,
Yeah.
probably the second one. It's just sort of my.
No, because the second one I said was my bones were frail.
Oh.
So you mean the first one, that my muscles are so
Yeah,
strong?
that's my mistake, Mogi. Did you
that
say that
makes sense,
second?
man, because that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So every single muscle was contracting. Must have had a pretty button mushroom situation going on.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, briefly I knew what it felt like to be you.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
Do what they told you. What they told you. Do what they told you. Do what they told you.
It's time to wage against the machine.
Winning in the game of.
Winning in the game of.
Yeah.
It's Wage Against the Machine time. Thanks to our mates at Super Liquor for giving us a whole heap of cash and saying, give it to those bloody great backbones out there. Stuart, you mad bastard, how's life?
Really good, thank you.
Oh, bloody good, Stuart. Where are you calling from, man?
Auckland.
Nice. And what do you do for a crust?
Well, I'm a sales rep for
Ah.
a glue company, yeah.
Oh, that is
Oh,
backbone stuff right there, man. Stuart, do you know how Wage Against the Machine works?
Yes, but I suppose you'll tell me how it's going to go anyway.
What's that? You don't know how it works? Oh, okay, this is how it works. We announce the hourly wage for the day. Today's is $70 an hour. You'll then clock into the machine and say stop before the machine clocks you out. The amount of hours you can last, you times it by the hourly wage, and that's how much cash you get back, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, mate. And don't forget a nice loud stop, and I'll pause it. You ready to go, Stuart?
Certainly am.
Let's do this thing.
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, 280, big ones.
$280, Stuart. How good?
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. Could it have been pretty gooder? Let's have a listen and find out.
5 hours, 6 hours,
Oh,
7 hours.
God.
Yeah, gosh.
8 hours.
8 hours.
Oh, God.
Stuart, I suppose you're fuming when you listen back to that.
Oh, no. It's all good. Halfway there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. You still got a few bucks. You got a dollop of cash, as Hoodie J would say, mate. You got to be chuffed.
Excellent, I am, yes.
Bloody ripper, Stuart. Well, thank you very much for playing, mate. $280 coming your way. Going to chuck you over to Pugson now in Studio B. And also another big shout out to Super Liquor. Cheers to that for giving us all that cash to play with. Speaking of cash, Mogi, got a bit of a situation at home involving my fun account.
Oh, God.
Just need some advice from you next, if that's all good.
Yeah, man. I'll help you out with that, brother.
Thanks, man.
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
Rolling Stones there on the Hodaki Big Show, 6 minutes to 5 o'clock with Keyzie and Minogue. Hoodie JB back on deck tomorrow. He's a bit under the weather today. If you want to see him slightly better in the flesh on Wednesday, the Hodaki Big Show is doing a live show to kickstart the International New Zealand Comedy Festival with Best Foods Mayo. We're doing that from Andy's Burger Bar, which is at the foot of the Sky Tower. That is on, sorry, did I say Wednesday? It's actually on Thursday.
Oh, is it?
Pugson shaking his fist at me.
He's not happy.
Like Abe Simpson in that meme. So it's, this Thursday, Andy's Burger Bar, Sky City. We're going to have a whole heap of comedians coming through, having a bit of a yarn about the comedy festival. We're also going to have Backbone teas on offer, food and bevy vouchers, and plenty of tickets to the comedy festival as well.
I've never been to this bar before.
It's great.
Yeah, is it?
So they do these amazing burgers, and you get and you'll love this, a big pottle of macaroni cheese.
Oh, pottle.
And you can dip.
Do they do dollops of macaroni cheese?
It's more of a pottle.
Do they sell it by the dollop?
It's more of a pottle, if I'm honest.
No, that's a shame.
But you could dollop in the pottle.
Sure.
You dip your burgers into the macaroni cheese.
Oh.
And then you eat that.
Okay.
And also it's delivered to you by a robot that has a cat's face on it.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Big Show will be there live. So it's a lot of stuff to process there. But if you wanted to come see the Big Show live, it is this Thursday, the 2nd of May at 4 p.m. Knock off work early. Bring your mates. You could win some free stuff.
Plenty of parking too, Keyzie.
Oh,
how good's that?
So much parking, man. I love parking. Speaking of parking, actually not at all. Coming up after 5 o'clock, Charlie Gubb, Warriors legend, over 500 games for the club. He's going to be coming on and discussing where the Warriors are at the moment. Also, comedian and Hodaki announcer Tony Lyall's in after 5:30 to have a yarn about the comedy festival. And speaking of, we are making our, all three of us are doing a stand-up gig next week. It's now sold out.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some material I want to run past you because I'm just worried it's a bit too in-house, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a bit too backbone. But we'll do that after 5, eh?
Okay.
All right, then.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast. Catch them weekdays from 4 on Radio Hodaki.
It is the Hodaki Big Show brought to you by Night and Day.
Really good, Keyzie.
That's so good
stuff, brother. We've got a real chemistry going on here, man. I don't care what anybody says. That was beautiful.
Do people say stuff?
Oh, people are talking.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's probably because Jace is away. He's sick today after a long weekend. Classic situation. He will be back on deck tomorrow, though, and he will also be here on Thursday when we do our live show at Andy's Burger Bar at Sky City in Auckland. Make sure you do come along. Mogi, I believe you had an update on a pretty remarkable achievement from a remarkable New Zealander.
Yeah, that's right. Josh Coman, some of you would have heard him on the Between Two Beers podcast, and we had him on here a couple of weeks ago. He got leukemia a couple of times. Had about 8,000 heart attacks during treatment and has recovered from it. And he participated in the Christchurch Marathon. He just did a 10K. He used to be one of New Zealand's leading and most promising runners in sort of the 800 metres. And for the first time in about 16 years since he first got leukemia, he ran 10K. He did a fundraiser for Ranui House, which is a place where families can stay while people are receiving treatment. It's down there in Christchurch. He did a fundraiser. In total, Ranui House raised $68,000, of which Josh Coman raised $10,200 after having a target of $5,000. So he's doubled his money there, and ran it in under 60 minutes, the 10Ks, which is, considering what he's been through, it's faster than I could do it.
Absolutely. I I ran 10K once, and I wasn't doing 6-minute Ks.
Nah.
It was shocking. So it's a pretty remarkable achievement there. Is there a link or something that people can go to support it still, or are they shut it up?
I think they've got all the money they can handle now.
That's it.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
done.
Ranui House, if you look them up, they do great work. You could either Google it and try and give them money, but I mean, look, that 10 grand should last them, 40 years?
Yeah, I reckon.
50 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
You know
though.
what they
Give it
should
a
do?
Google.
They should open a fun account.
They should open a fun account and have a curry laksa.
Hey, speaking of fun accounts, we're going to have a fun account of the Warriors, courtesy of Charlie Gubb shortly. Also, we are doing stand-up next week. I've got some material to run past you guys. The Flellers. For now, though, tunes from Cake. Mogie's got that cake.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
Spoon Man, Soundgarden on the Hodaki Big Show, 12 minutes past 5. You've got Keyzie and Minogue. Hoodie J back on deck tomorrow when she's feeling a bit better. Mogie, next week on the Wednesday, you, myself, and Hoodie J are doing 5 minutes of stand-up each as part of the International Comedy Festival with Best Foods Mayo. The Classic Comedy Fest All-Stars show. It has now sold out. It's hosted by Brendan Lovegrove and a whole lot of other actual comedians, and we're giving it a go. Last year, I earned a reputation for doing two things. One was doing a lot of puns, which are great. And another thing was doing a lot of material, a.k.a. doubling the allotted time.
Yeah.
Which, that was a whole thing. So this year, I want to make sure I'm extra prepared. I've written a whole lot of new content. I'm just worried it's a bit in-house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like personal jokes for the big show.
Sure.
So what I might do is just set up a situation where we can do a run-through of my material, how I'm planning on starting it, and you just let me know what you think, all right?
Yep, sure.
Okay, so got a bit of a crowd there. Come up on stage, Keyzie, all right?
What are you doing? You're walking out now?
Oh, yeah, I've walked out now, yeah. No, Mike.
No, that's not me.
Right, okay.
That's because I thought it was going to be Hoodie J or me, and then you've come out.
Yeah, okay.
Boo!
It sounds like you, this is all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm acting like me.
Okay,
It probably will be me on the night as well.
Right.
But anyway, then that dies down a little bit. Lots of people get up and go to the bar and the toilet.
Yeah. Okay, now I tap the microphone, say there's this thing on, and we rip into it. G'day, you backbones. I recently convinced my wife that we should sign up to a new subscription service where you pay money and receive a weekly shipment of pork minced up and put inside a can. Unfortunately, they didn't show up though because we don't accept spam mail. So what do you think? Is that too in-house? You know, because like the pork mince thing, you know, is like people know me for...
No, it's good because I had my wife in there, and that's from that popular movie Borat. So that's good.
Right.
Because people will recognise that. What was it? Pork mince?
Yeah, it was like a spam. It was like a play on joke. It was like a pun almost. What do you think? Like, was that funny enough?
No, I think it's funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just conscious of the fact that I'm coming after you. So that's kind of standard that I think is going to make it a relief when I arrive.
Yeah, okay. So
What else you got? You got anything else there?
No, not yet. I'm working on it. I've cut a lot of stuff.
Oh, really? And that survived?
Yeah. So that's sort of like you throw a whole lot of stuff at the wall. The best of the best sticks. That's sort of the best.
So you just got a whole bunch of crap on the floor.
It's pretty messy down there, Mogi. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we should do this every day.
Really?
We should do this every day. I'll bring some jokes in tomorrow. Okay, and we'll sort of tear some stuff out because this is the thing. Like, you know, we've been speaking to Tony Lyall a little bit off here and on here, but we did have a word with him. I did last week, and he was sort of saying that you should be practicing with your material, but we're not going to be doing that.
No, but we should
until just on the night, which
Yeah.
seems insane.
So we should do some practice. Yeah, that's a great idea. Some warm up sets. Yeah. So
we'll do one tomorrow night.
You'll give it a whirl tomorrow. Give it a whirls because it's split ends.
You should do that one. That should be your closer.
I'm writing that down right now.
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
It is Guns N' Roses on the Hodaki Big Show, 5:25 this Monday afternoon. Keyzie and Minogue here. Hoodie J will be back tomorrow, a bit under the weather at the moment. By the way, huge show coming up. Next, we've got Tony Lyall in to chat the Comedy Fest. We've also got What's for Tea New Zealand with me, Keyzie, after 6. So text through on 3483 what you're having for dinner.
Yeah.
You can win a $50 night and day voucher. But right now, Mike, we've got to chat Waz, mate. The Warriors lost to the Titans on Anzac Day. It was the Titans' first win of the season. I was a wee bit disappointed, as were you. So we've got Warriors expert, rugby league guru, Charlie Gubb on the line. Charlie, how you going?
Yeah, good intro, Keyzie.
Yeah, thanks, mate. What did you think of the game, Charlie? Because it was a roller coaster of emotions for me. Ultimately, a very exciting game. Do you think the Titans deserve to get that first win?
Yeah, after the way the Warriors played, I think they deserve to win. You know, they coming to New Zealand and winning on Anzac Day is pretty big. I was just feeling a bit gutted like that after the game. You know, like we had everything to play for, but it was pretty much just copy and paste of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every time the edges had to make a decision, they just didn't trust each other. Kind of schoolboy stuff. You know, not hating on anyone because they're very good players.
Allow me to bring the hate then, Charlie. Allow me to bring it, brother. Now I love him as well, and it's the only it's really the only hole in his game. DWZ. I'd like to hear it from your side, because what I'm finding annoying is the commentators don't mention it. It's not mentioned in the post match. It's not mentioned in the write up of the games. It's not mentioned in any of the podcasts. He jams in, he shows no trust on his inside centre, and it causes every single week points. This week it was 10 points as a direct result of him jamming in when he just absolutely did not need to do it on either occasion. What is the thought process there? What is happening at training during the week that is just, to me, it should be a simple fix. He just should not be allowed to jam in, but he does it. What is the conversation during the week at training for stuff like that? Because I can't get my head around it.
Oh, they definitely would be talking about it, and he would. It's probably one of those things that's just ingrained in him, and maybe when he's a bit fatigued, he's making that wrong decision. But there was no excuse for that first one, where Brimson scored, because the short side was so small, and Rocco Berry had him covered. But he just, and it was halfway, you know. Because, well, like I always say, mate, the sideline's your best defender. It's actually never missed a tackle in the history of the game.
Yeah, you do always say that, actually, Charlie. You roll it out every week. Charlie Gubb, should a lot of people, you know, Pinot Noir supporters, all these kind of people jumping on and they're going, crap, what's happening to the Warriors? Is it time to jump off? Is it panic stations at the Warriors, Charlie, or is it early days?
It's early days. You know, I've heard it a few times. Not that I listen to Essie and I'm a hierarchy guy, but Essie and they talk a bit of sense. Come on, you know, we're 3-3 with a bye coming up, and we were 5-5 last year. But I think just our expectations are pretty high, which they should be. But we know that, like, if we're playing at 90% and Titans are playing at 90%, we would bury them. You know, like we played shit and they played good, and they just got the win. So it's guttering, but it is early days, and we will come good. I can see. I have no doubt that it will punish the Knights.
One thing I'd like to touch on, Charlie, and I'd love to see your opinion on this. The debut of Zion Mau'u, his bringing it off the back fence injected a lot of energy and almost caused that second half comeback for the Warriors, man. How do you rate him?
Oh, I rate him. I remember watching him as a 16-year-old playing in the under-20s versus the Wellington team, and he was a man, and he's like a granddad now. So he's already got that dad strength. But I think once they get some cavalry back, you know, Marata and Jazz, and then they could go like Marata, Jazz, Dylan Walker, and Zion off the bench. That's a lot of aggression, because we've been missing that punch. You know, like Tom Ale will obviously be there, but I don't know, just he brought a different intensity, and even I feel like our back rows have been missing that mongrel. You know, we're kind of losing the tackle, because we do have the best two front rows in the like as a combo right now with Barnett and Fanor Blake, but they're just getting too many minutes.
Yeah, one thing I do love about the Warriors at the moment is they do have these patches of being garbage, like, you know, last 20 of the first half, first 20 of the second, but they never give up, and that's what differentiates them from the teams of old, where they go for 20 minutes and then if the points are on the board, that'll be it. But now they go hard until the end. You know, they certainly don't give up anyway.
Yeah, they're rock hard. They're bedrock to the end, brother. And do you know what I loved? I love seeing Paul Kent get ragdolled into the team.
How good was that? How good was that? That was an absolute highlight. Him firing up. This is an NRL journalist over in Australia firing up after having a few too many beers and getting NRL 360'd up against a tree and ended up with his head in the gutter.
Yeah.
saved the weekend for me.
Certainly did. Before we let you go, Charlie Gubb, it's time for the Porter King Player of the Week. Hit us with your Porter King Player of the Week, mate.
All right, Porter King Player of the Week. Back-to-back weeks, even though we gave it to Webster last week for getting Fisher Harris, we're going Adam Fanua-Blake for scoring a double. The guy just has no quit in him.
Absolutely. So Fanua-Blake is your Porter King Player of the Week. And don't forget, if you're in Wellington and you need a Portaloo, hit up Porter King, hit up Uncle Charlie. He'll come sort you out. Until next week, Charlie, thanks for yarning, mate.
Thanks, Keyzie.
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
Red hot chili peppers. It is the Hodaki Big Show this Monday afternoon. You've got Keyzie, Mogi, Hoodie J's under the weather, but that's okay because we've got comedian Tony Lyall in the studio with us. Of course, Tony, you also work for Radio Hodaki.
It's true, yes. I was here all last week filling in for Matt and Jerry, so lovely to come back and see in a slightly later part of the day, see what you guys get up to, because you don't really cross paths. You guys, I guess, wander in at what, like sort of 5 to 4 or something like this.
10 to 4, yeah, that's right.
10 to 4 and just come straight in on the microphone. So, yeah, I was long gone by the time you fellas rolled in.
That's right. How do you find being here in the afternoon?
It's okay. I think that it's had a chance to musk up a little bit. This room is definitely has more of an aroma in the afternoon. I guess there's been a lot of men in it throughout the day.
That's right.
And Angie, I'm not sure what sort of scent she's leaking, but it isn't making it better.
How did you find doing the breakfast show?
It was lovely, mate. Got introduced to the coffee makers over the road. Beautiful couple there. And Jerry left his tab open as well. So, we can drink coffee. So, from that point of view, it was tip-top. Couldn't ask for better.
We've got the old text machine here, obviously, 3483. People can punch through their own their text message, give their thoughts. So I was doing that last week in their droves when they were bagging you and bagging the state of the breakfast show and asking when Matt and Drew will be back. Hurts your feelings, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, you know what they say, like as long as they're talking about it, it doesn't matter what they're saying.
That's true.
If they're saying Tony Lyall sucks, I hate that guy, at least they know my name. They're not saying, oh, that bald freak sucks, because that would have hurt my feelings if they didn't know who I was. But
any publicity.
It's good to have a nickname, so I reckon the next time you do breakfast, if it's sort of like...
Well, if you'd listened, we actually would have covered
Mashy and the bald freak.
We actually covered it quite extensively on the breakfast show during the week. If you'd listened, you'd be aware of that.
I did listen. You came up with saying it didn't really catch me the way bald freak has.
Yeah, bald freak is quite good. It ended up on the Colossus was the name.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the Colossus, it was Mash Rooter and the Colossus, and I have to say, that's a hell of a breakfast show.
Well, the colossal bald freak has got a ring to it.
Well, I don't know if we need to sort of linger on the colossal bald freak angle. It's a bit long, the CBF.
My nickname's Keyzie.
Cool, man.
Hey, Tony, you've got a show coming up at the Comedy Festival, mate. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. I've got a couple, actually. I've got doing a solo show, just me, myself. It's Lower the Tone is the name of it, on the third week of the festival, 21st to the 25th.
50 minute?
50, mate, it'll be more like an hour, 55 an hour. Upstairs at the Classic Comedy Club, if you've ever been, it's the best place to do comedy in Auckland. So very excited for that one for sure. And doing a little bit of a late night show as well on May 11th, the Saturday night. It's a sports show called Spirit of the Game, me and Paul Douglas.
Yeah,
another fella. And we've got a whole bunch of guests coming on to do some stand-up so far, locked in. We have James McConey from Crowd Goes Wild. We have Josh Thompson from 7 Days. We have Hayley Sproul from every single thing that's ever been made. And Tim Provise from Bakery Runs and Crowd Goes Wild as well. A couple of more names to be announced for that. And they'll all be doing some sport-based stand-up comedy.
So you need like entertaining sports adjacent people.
Exactly.
Wow, where could you find any of those?
Well, to be honest, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel, but just none of the names are popping up to me, to be honest.
Have you heard of the ACC?
Yeah, well, we do have James McConey who does sort of fill the ACC quota in that regard. And, you don't want to just make it an ACC show, do you? So you were looking slightly further afield. But if everyone else says no, then, we might loop back.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh, this isn't for me or the ACC. I was just wondering.
It's for me.
Yeah, it's for Mogi.
Well, I hear you guys are doing some stand-up comedy anyway. So getting you guys in would be a bit unfair. You guys are crafty veterans by that point.
Well, we might have a yarn after the break about that, shall we?
Yeah, it sounds good, Mogi. One really quick question. The difference between a 10-minute set and an entire hour-long show?
50 minutes usually.
Yep. So that's the time difference.
Yeah.
In terms of the crafting and putting it in, the mental toll that takes, what's that like?
Oh, well, I mean, it's certainly much longer, so you've got to put a lot more effort into it. And to get it up to that standard, I mean, 10 minutes, you can get 10 minutes good.
Yeah.
I mean, in 1/6 of the time, really. So it's just about, sort of just takes a lot longer to get together. And then once you got all the different little bits, you got to find an order that makes sense.
Right.
Some sort of through line, hopefully, a couple of callbacks in there, and you're good to go.
Right, okay.
To-douche.
All right, we'll be back with more Tony Lyall, a.k.a.
Shapeshifter.
The Colossus.
Better drop a pinger over here.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
Electric Dream, Shapeshifter. It's the Hodaki Big Show this Monday, Arvo, with Keyzie and Minogue. You've also got comedian and Hodaki host Tony Lyall in here with us right now. Tony, you have got together with Paul Douglas, who's another comedian that I quite enjoy. Mm-hmm. You've got a sports show going on. What's it called again?
Spirit of the Game.
Spirit of the Game. So you can get tickets from wherever you get your comedy festival tickets. I suggest
comedyfestival.co.nz. That's where I'd go to.
.nz, and you can check that out. What actually is it? What is this thing? Is it like a sports panel show? Is it interviews, or is it just sports-based stand-up for the whole thing?
So there'll be... we want a late night feel, so it'll be nice and hectic. So everyone will be out there. Basically, everyone who's on stage at the time will stand up and do sort of 5 to 7 minutes of stand-up comedy about sport or stories or anything they want to do, really. And then we'll sort of have a bit of an all-in interview and a yarn. And anyone from the crowd can chip in during that stage, and we'll just sort of see what happens. But I don't want to put too firmer parameters in place. I want to see what happens, let it live and breathe on the night, and that's where you get those magic little moments.
Don't want to do too much work then.
Exactly. You've nailed me there. I haven't done any prep so far.
Yeah.
I was really
just
hoping...
get the people in the room and hope for the best.
Totally use these other people's star power to sell the tickets.
Sure.
And then we can just basically have some fun and get in there and sort of talk a bit of sport for an hour or so.
Bloody magnificent. So we had the Big Show, the members of, are doing their own stand-up Wednesday, the 8th of May. Feels about right.
That's
it's
right.
Sold out, so you can't get tickets. Sorry,
nice.
Tony. You're out of luck there, brother. Any advice for Keyzie, man?
Well, I heard
Keyzie,
obviously, Keyzie man, you know, this is not his first rodeo. He did Sky City last year during the comedy festival, and I asked a couple of people afterwards, you know, how did he go? How was he out there? And I mean, I do have to say that the feedback was positive. They said you did really well, but they also said, you know, the set length was 6 minutes. I don't know if you've heard that 6 minutes, and word around the street is you did about 12. So I'd say...
It first was 8 minutes and I did 12.
My advice to you would be stick to the time, don't run the light.
That's the weird thing is I do you, especially with your hour-long set, right, do you put a timer on and do the whole thing and go, right, this is how long it is?
Well, yes, of course. And for every set, you should have some form of timer on. And I'm sure there would have been a light flashing at you saying, get off the stage.
Oh, there was.
You don't notice it when you're killing, you know?
Well, that was the thing. It wasn't just flashing as part of the venue. Everybody in the crowd got their
torches
phone.
out?
Yeah, and they were just like, get off.
Like an Ed Sheeran concert.
But he was sort of, and it was a good set. He did really well. But there was about 85,000 pun jokes when I feel like we could have pulled it back 4 minutes and just done 60,000.
Yeah, it's incredible how many puns you can fit into 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And you just think of the other comedians, you know, they've laboured away at their set. They've probably trimmed jokes out because they probably had 10-minute sets. They've probably done 15 minutes.
I guess the thing about it is it's disrespectful to the other people on the...
It's just disrespectful, you know. And then people have booked babysitters. They expect the show to be a certain length. So they go, oh...
and a certain quality.
Now I'm 4 minutes over to the babysitter. You know, I might have to pay them a whole other hour here. So
You're right,
potentially
Tony.
cost everyone in the audience another $20-$30.
Speaking of disrespectful, what about Mogie's set? I mean, this is a guy who didn't even want to do it in the beginning. He's done it once at a Razza and then after that refused to do it ever again. So it obviously went horribly. What kind of comedy do you think you can expect from Mogie, or if any? You know what I mean?
He is in the, I don't want to say enviable position of sort of being the dark horse saying, you know, I haven't really done it, I don't really care, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about it.
He was saying off air, I've done no work towards this. And it's that
Yeah.
classic thing is if you don't try, you can't fail. So if he
That's
rolls
not
in
true,
the
though. I
day
disagree with
before,
that.
you roll in the day before and it goes bad, you go, well, I didn't try, I don't care about it anyway, so I'm still fine. But, you know, if you really dig in and you try your hardest and it goes badly, then you go, oh, shit, I've bummed myself out here. But I like his approach. He's going with the,
well, it's
if it
5
goes
minutes,
well, I'm a
isn't it?
hero.
I've done it. I have done it before. I did it a little bar somewhere, Kingsland.
Oh, nice.
About a year ago, and it was good as gold. It was just one yarn, about 8 minutes long.
And then you yelled backbone at the end of
And
the
then
day.
like, backbone, hashtag backbone.
Yeah, great.
And there was a massive standing ovation.
There was, nice.
I sort of got up on stage, and it is a scary experience. People, you know, you're not used to it. And I just blacked out. When I came to, everyone was on their feet applauding and just sort of, you know, throwing cash at me.
Yeah, I know how that feels. It certainly
Wow.
is one of the highlights of your life when you black out, wake up, and they're throwing cash at you. But I mean, as long as there's not a pole around you anywhere and you're dancing, you're good to go.
Yeah. Are you sure they weren't getting up and leaving? They were celebrating.
Keyzie, it was quite clear what was going on, mate. But, you know, that might be my one good gig. And this one's going to mean I'm bombing. But look, if there's going to be a place that you want to bomb, it is at Auckland's premier comedy.
It certainly is. And I don't want to put the fear of God in you or anything, but there is sort of almost a trope with comedians that your first gig goes great and your second gig goes badly.
Yes.
And that's why everyone always sticks in with it because it felt that giddy height of a
Sure.
gig going rip-roaringly well. and then the next one's awful, and they go, I'll get the feeling from the first one. I guess it's almost like heroin in that regard.
Yeah.
And it does also ruin your relationship. So it is very much like heroin.
Yeah, I prefer heroin.
Heroin is easy to get.
Should we just do heroin instead of the gig?
Okay.
Well,
Let's
that
do
could
that.
be the next promotion for the big show, really. The big sort of heroin you sort of sit ups maybe at a public place and
Yes.
just all inject and let everyone watch you. You get it sponsored by
The big nod.
the big nod.
So good.
I can see it catching on.
So, comedyfestival.co.nz to get your tickets if you want to check out either of Tony's shows as well. Thank you very much for coming in, mate, and good luck with the festy.
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
You too. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It is the Hodaki Big Show with Keyzie and Mogi. Hoity J back on deck tomorrow. Coming up after 6, what's on tally with old Mogi? And also, what's for tea New Zealand? Send through what you're having for tea on 3483 and you could win a $50 night and day voucher.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it? It's one of my favourite, the favourite things that we do here on the Big Show. Favourite segment, I should say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just finding out what people are having for din-dins.
Yeah, right. Because
It's good, eh?
when you say it like that, it just sounds boring, but there's so much more to it.
There's so much to it.
Yeah.
I'm always thrilled to know what people are eating, and it's so varied.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it is on the way next.
A lot of pork mince, though.
Heaps of pork mince. That's up after 6, New Zealand.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast. Catch them weekdays from 4 on Radio Hodaki.
Oh, it's the Big Show, all right, and it's brought to you by Night and Day. Today they're doing a Mogi special. You walk into any Night and Day, you say, hey, I want a Mogi special. They will give you a cup of piping hot barista-made coffee. Hell of a fix that is, Mogi.
Yeah.
They'll also give you some diapers.
Yeah.
Massive hanky, some eye drops.
Some eye drops.
For your bulges.
Yeah, and some deep heat for my broken ribs.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's $12.99
Yeah, that's
today
right.
only.
And a dilly.
And a dilly. By the way, the Hodaki Big Show has a daily bonus podcast. It's extra content. It's us just having a yarn for 10 to 15 minutes. If you want to find it, search Hodaki Big Show wherever you get your potties from. Here's a clip of today's one, which involves Mogi's wife encouraging him to drink non-responsibly, you might say.
She goes to bed. She's like, "Oh, you coming to bed?" I'm like, "No, it's 9 o'clock." And she's like, "Oh, well, you're going to have lots of energy tomorrow?" And I was like, "Hey, you are the one that said I should drink."
Classic situation.
It was a classic situation of my wife thinking she was married to somebody else that drinks responsibly.
Yeah, she's thinking she's married to me again. She always does that. Called me in tears about it once. Hey, up next, what's for tea New Zealand? Text us 3483. What are you having? And you could win yourself a $50 night and day voucher. Here's some Green Day.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
Outlook for Thursday. DD Smash on the Hodaki Big Show. The outlook is good. We are doing a live show, Andy's Burger Bar, this Thursday. Come on down. See myself, Mogi, Hoity J, and Pugson live and in the fresh, and also win some free stuff. But enough about that, because it's time for this. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Text here from Steve. What's for tea, New Zealand? With me,
Keyzie.
So good. If you don't know how this segment works, it's pretty complex. You text through on 3483 what you've had for dinner. I read it out. Mike and Jace, they then react to it.
Yeah.
All right, so what about this one here? Fry up leftover lamb roast. Cheers, and that's from Daryl.
Daryl again.
Oh, is that Daryl again, is it?
Yeah.
It's my bad.
A fry up.
Just chuck
Yeah,
it all
no,
in.
that sounds good.
That sounds good.
I like that.
My mum used to turn them into a pie with taties on the top.
Oh, really?
Leftover lamb, get it all and then put it in there with some like beef stock and
There
stuff.
must have been a hell of a lot of leftover lamb to make a pie out of it.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I
Hey.
think there must have. Well, she was cooking big meals for the kids so that they'd have leftovers and blah, blah.
Sure.
You know,
The portion control is damaged there, though. I expect more from mine.
Yeah, my mum, I'm going to say on the radio that her cooking was bad. G'day, fellas. Tonight we're having Chelsea Winter's fried chicken for my boy's 14th birthday. He'll be hanging out for it after his first day back at school. Haha, sucker.
Is he a sucker because it's his first day back at school, or because he has to eat Chelsea Winter's fried chicken?
No, it'll be because it's first day back at school, because I've had that fried chicken.
Oh, really?
It's pretty damn tasty.
Is it good eating?
It is good eating. Obviously,
What kind of sauce do you have with it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
That's just the chicken itself. I remember filling up a fry pan with canola oil, though.
Oh, that's good eating.
Yeah, it was pretty good at drinking.
Yeah.
We drank that the next day as well, because you don't want to be accused of having bad portion control. Someone here's having a sexy bit of Angus meat, and that's from Darren.
Angus, you lucky bastard.
No, it's a type of... someone here, actually, this is off topic, but is accusing me of cursing the Warriors because I've commentated 4 out of 5 of the losses.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, just on that, how did you think RTS went at centre?
It was all good?
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, he's not a problem.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
Here's a great text. G'day, Flowers. Forgot to eat me toasted sandwich for lunch, so I'm having it for dins.
Oh.
And that's from Steve.
I had a few toasted sandwiches over the weekend, actually, on the ferry there. Cheese and onions.
Those, when we first started the show and you were living there,
yeah,
you'd have one of those every day.
Pretty much every day.
Still good?
I was running a puku. Yeah, I never got sick of them.
I need to taste one.
A little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of cracked pepper.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you have water with it?
The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
It is Eels on the Hodaki Big Show. Mr. E's Beautiful Blues. Keyzie and Mogi here. Hoity J back tomorrow, but under the weather today. But in the meantime, it's time for this.
What's on the telly with Mike Minogue.
Yeah.
So good.
I watched Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been doing some family movies because we're away for the weekend, so we got a few of those in. And Minions.
Despicable Me 4?
No, God knows. God knows. But yeah, not amazing. Then I watched, last night we watched an episode of Seinfeld before passing out.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good one. It was one where Elaine wanted to hook up with this dude at the gym, and the guy had caught Costanza urinating in the shower at the gym.
Oh my God, that's right.
Very good. And then Michael Richards can't sleep. Kramer can't sleep because his blanket is in the dry cleaners, and so he falls asleep in a tanning bed and ends up being really dark and goes to visit the family of his girlfriend,
his new girlfriend,
who is African American. And when you know the reason why Michael Richards, the actor, ends up getting cancelled, that's got an extra edge to it. That's essentially a blackface scene.
Yeah.
How about you, Keyzie, man?
I watched. Do you remember, like a month ago, I showed you a trailer for a movie, a comedy trailer called Ricky Stenicki?
Oh God, yeah. And now, can I just say, it looks like one of the worst films ever made, and I'm a big fan of those guys, but that looks like absolute garbage.
For anyone that isn't aware of what it is, Zac Efron and two of his mates have had this imaginary friend called Ricky Stenicki. They use him as an excuse to go basically run away from their wives and have parties and blah, blah. The particular plot of this one is Ricky's cancer's come back, so they're away partying, and then find out halfway through that one of the dudes, his wife has given birth 6 weeks early or something. So that's the issue. They then freak out, have to find someone to play Ricky Stenicki. In comes John Cena. I was saying this to Pugs on Friday. I only watched half of it because my wife fell asleep.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Until John Cena comes along.
Oh, right.
Zac Efron and the other two are absolute... They're terrible. The writing is terrible. Everything about... They don't land any jokes whatsoever. They're sort of like, oh yeah, this could be funny, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's all shot in Melbourne, which is weird, so all the other characters are all Australian. But John Cena, brilliant.
Right.
Still wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Nah. But if you want to like just chuck it on.
I don't.
Not you. If anyone else out there wants to just chuck something on for like an hour and a half while their wife goes to sleep and you just sort of scroll TikTok, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, that's right. It's nice to have something in the background while you're watching Instagram Reels.
Yeah, that's right. The Hodaki Big Show's Instagram Reels.
The Hodaki Big Show podcast.
It is Pearl Jam alive on the Hodaki Big Show with Keyzie and Mogi. Hoity J will be back on board with us tomorrow. He's just a bit under the weather today. But if you head to the Hodaki Big Show's Instagram page, you can see a video of Hoity J driving myself and Mogi in the brand new Mitsubishi Triton and tackling a 2-hour-long off-road course. It is extremely entertaining. Hoity J, well, to be honest, we thought he was going to freak out the whole time, but he ended up getting quite confident.
You did.
You drove it for a bit. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was a good time. You are conscious of the fact that you don't want to completely ruin it.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, you also think, well, if I ruin it, is that my fault?
No, and yeah, it's a demonstrator ute, right?
That's right. So I know I had a great time, and I've never done anything like that. I've not got a passion for utes. I've already got my Tita truck and my Aqua truck, and that's butch enough for me. But you can certainly see the attraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if that vehicle is good enough to make Hoity J not look like what he is, which is a terrible driver, then that must be a hell of a vehicle, don't you think? No, like, honestly.
Absolutely. I felt I wasn't worried at all while he was driving us. And at one point, we go down this incline, which was close enough to 45 degree. It was ridiculously scary. And if we weren't in a decent vehicle, I would have been absolutely shitting my pants, but it was totally fine.
Yeah, totally fine, completely without any stress at all. Yeah, highly recommend.
You know that they call it the new King of the Beasts, eh?
Yeah, I know. Well, that was me that gave them that.
Was that you?
I was like, this thing is the King of the Beasts. Like, I've seen some beastie utes, but I think this is King of the Beasts.
Far out.
Yeah.
I thought they came up with that over at Mitsubishi headquarters in Japan. No, okay. Or like an agency or something.
No.
Wow, okay.
No, that was me.
Hey, by the way, text the word Triton right now to 3483. That is TRITON to 3483. And you can win a chance to take that exact same ute on an epic off-road adventure. Thanks to the new Mitsubishi Triton. Get stuck in.
The Hodaki Big Show Podcast.
Well, there you go, everyone. The Big Show done and dusted for your Monday evening. Hoity J, hopefully feeling better tomorrow and will be back with us. Mogi, plans tonight? What's on the menu?
Don't know what's on the menu. I think it's going to be an early night because it is sort of that second day hangover that I'm going through at the moment, which is I'm not hungover, but I'm definitely tired and would rather be asleep than talking to you. And that's not, that's not nothing against you.
It just seems
but generally,
like it was.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind some takeaways maybe.
Oh, you know what you should get?
Oh, pork mince. Some pork mince.
Yeah. Or night and day?
Nah. Oh, maybe some ice creams.
Some ice creams. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Ice creams and pork mince.
Yeah. What about you, mate? What are you up to?
Tonight I'm going to be recording my video games podcast and then coming home to the leftover cottage pie. My wife made a cottage pie.
What is a cottage pie?
It's like a mince with beef mince, actually, which is weird, with mixed veggies in it and taties on top.
Right.
And cheese.
Is it without the pastry around the side?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what defines?
I think so.
Okay.
But what you do is you put that in the oven and you cook it up and then you pull it out.
How long do you cook it for? What sort of 180 for 25?
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yeah, and you put a little bit of like Waddy's stock stuff in there. But you cook enough for 8 people, even though there's just 2 of you living there, and then you have it for leftovers for 4 days straight. That's the technique.
I just Googled what is cottage pie, but it came up with what is cottage core, as in hardcore.
Right.
And so it's a whole bunch of freaks who love things cottage related.
Or like cottaging.
Yeah, like cottaging. Exactly right.
Yeah, that's
I just really want to get to the bottom of what the difference is with cottage pie and every other pie in the face of the world.
We can do that off air if you want, man.
No, it feels like we should do it here,
okay.
But the problem that I've got is the internet here is terrible.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a shepherd's pie and a cottage pie,
Shepherd
Keyzie?
is lamb.
Is that
sheep.
what it is?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
hey,
looks like you're right.
Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find out the difference between cottage pie and regular pie tomorrow on The Big Show. We'll be back 4 till 7. In the meantime, you can get our potties wherever you get your potties from. Search Hodaki Big Show. We'll see you tomorrow.